friends, Shawn here with Manly Made Minute, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Moments where I share tips, tricks, and helpful hints. Today is going to be about lining up your elements with two tools that hopefully you have one of the two or both of these tools in your toolbox, and that is a scor-pal or score buddy and a MISTI stamping tool. So we're going to be showing you how to line up elements and keeping them straight, how to get a good nice crease and fold and lining up your card when you're creasing your cards. So hopefully you walk away with some tips that will help you today. And before I do that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow me here on YouTube and Instagram, where I post all kinds of hops and cards and videos and lives. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. So let's head down to the down camera, show you what we are going to be doing today. All right. First and foremost, I want to show you how to crease a card and keeping it nice and straight. If you have trouble doing the old eyeball and keeping it straight and then holding it, by the time you put it down, it shifts a little bit and then your card's not as straight, here's what you're going to do. Get out a scor-pal. Now this will work out with a MISTI tool. You just need two straight edges to do this. So you're going to need a straight edge here and a straight edge here so you can tuck it in the corner nice and tight. This will work on either tool that I'm going to show you. I'm going to use my scor-pal just because it's bigger to show you today. So to keep this nice and straight, I'm going to go this way. Tuck it up against one edge, tuck it up against the next edge, and then these are pre-scored. I have these cut at my local printing shop. I just bring in reams of paper. They cut it this way and they cut it this way for me and score it. Get it nice and tight in that corner. Nice and tight in that corner again. And now I'm going to use my bone folding tool and just crease that nice and tight up against that edge. And I have a perfect scored and lined up card. All right? That's for your card. Now, if you have elements, let's just say I have a card front. This is my card front. And it's a piece of scratch paper. And I need to line up really nice and tight against one edge a element like a banner die or anything else that you need to line up on an edge. I'm going to tuck this up tight. I've got a 3.5 inch. So now here's two reasons this is going to help you. One, my scor-pal has measurements on both sides. So I can center this and line it up at the same time. So if I know I've got 3.5, I've got 1 3/4 is my center, which is right here on my scor-pal. If I just eyeball center, now I could measure this and just give myself a tiny little mark on center and then line that up on center and then tuck it up nice and tight up against that edge. So what I would essentially do, and I'm just going to, let's see. I'm just going to use a little bit of runner tape since this is on scratch. Okay, if I tuck and tuck, nice and tight, center to 1 3/4, push that up against there. And if I had glue on this, I had dimensionals on this, however you're putting this down, I have a perfectly nice and even, squared off, nice and tight, cleaned up card. Okay? Now, the other way that I can do this is, let's just say you're going to make a scrap card and you've got a bunch of scraps or you've got elements that you need to line up across a card. I can line this up, if I'm going to just do a stripe down the middle, I can do the same thing, nice and tight here. And let's just say I want to go right on the 1 inch mark. Now I could find 1 inch, and I'm just going to grab, so if I go 1 inch, and I follow that line all the way down, I can take a marker and marker that. Now I'm using water-based or watercolor Crayola markers. This will just, a little bit of water, wipes right off. Okay, so if I tuck this nice and tight, and I want to line up to my 1 inch here, and then 1 inch here, boom, I have a perfectly straight element all the way down. Okay, Now, let's just say you're going to run this all the way across your paper, and you're just going to do a scrap card to keep this nice and straight. You can do the same thing. Tuck right up tight up against there. I'm going to tuck up against tight against here, and now I can just start running all of my cards, or all my strips, straight across my card. And I got a nice, even and straight. And then if you look at it, you've got one less edge that you need to cut as you come across, because you're going to have to trim this stuff off. And so you got it nice and straight. Now you could measure this, cut these to size, so you don't have to cut and get this crooked. And then you're just going to go across your tool. Again, this would work with your MISTI. Same concept. I have a sticky mat on inside mine that'll help stick it as well. But I like the scoring pal. It gives me more room to work with, and I have measurements. I do on my MISTI tool, but I like to see these measurements and then my lines all the way across. And let me just show you a water-based something, a little water on that, and that wipes right off. There you have it. Hopefully this gives you an idea for keeping up your elements nice and straight. Tools that you should have or hopefully have in your toolbox. If you're a beginner card maker, I suggest getting yourself a MISTI. You can use the MISTI for this and for its purpose. So it's a 2-in-1 versus this is kind of just scoring for the most part. But I would invest yourself in a MISTI stamping tool. Thank you all so much. Hopefully this gives you some ideas on how to line up elements, how to fold cards nice and neat and tight, and keep everything really nice, crisp and clean and professional looking. So thank you all for hanging with me. And until next time, I'll see you then.